Welcome to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast, your podcast for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Sean Chavarella, Stephen Clary, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Spare Parts Racing. I'm your host, Sean.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Taylor.
And friends, this week we have quite a bit to talk about. We have our F1 season preview episode where we give our predictions for the F1 season. One of our favorite ones to do all year, I think, in terms of predictions. And we also have some new stuff to talk about. We have a race in Phoenix that took place over the weekend, and we also have some stuff coming up for this week that we can talk about. So, how's everyone doing?
Depends on what happens minute by minute. Ask me again in 20 minutes, the answer probably changes. For those that don't get the joke, I work in auto, so everything changes, especially today.
But how you go from 50% to 25%, 50%?
50% tariff on steel. All of a sudden, I'm going to destroy the auto industry and make all the Ontarians lose their job. Yeah, that was a lot of fun today, being in office.
Oh, that would be very, very fun.
Hey, you still have your hair,
That is true.
I also enjoyed the post by He Who Shall Not Be Named that boycotting Tesla is actually illegal. And that the leftists are committing collusion and illegal things by boycotting Tesla. So that's kind of funny.
I'm going to say this, and I have a reason for this, but here we go.
Okay.
And we're going to bring this back, but fuck Tesla. Because if you were a serious car company and you really wanted to show yourself off as like this great car that's either, can do everything or is a performance vehicle or has great range, you know what? You should put them in a fucking racing series. You should somehow be making a Tesla racing series or some kind of...
Formula E is sitting right there.
There is something there.
True.
Tesla
and then you call the car the Formula...
shit.
You call the car the Formula T. Oh my God, it's all sitting right there.
And because Tesla has never actually reached out into the world of motorsports and done anything like that, fuck them. I don't want to get into the politics of that shit because I know everyone wants to go to motorsports to have a release from that shit. But if we're gonna talk Tesla, fuck them, because they should at least put their money where their mouth is and drive them fucking fast around a track. Anyway, this has gone off the rails immediately.
But we are not a politics podcast.
No, not at all.
No.
But I'm just saying, if you think your cars are great, let's see what they can do.
Yes.
Or sponsor a team. Like, there are options. You can sponsor a team.
Like Steven said,
Even if you
Formula
don't fund
E.
one.
Formula E is right there. Come on.
Formula E.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We have a Lola in Formula E and not a Tesla. That make that make sense.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Like Lola died, I think, 2 decades ago. But yeah, here we are. It's 2025. Weirder things have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho.
Besides
F1.
that, so Steve,
Happy notes. Happy notes.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so I guess we're going to jump right into F1.
F1. Did anybody watch Drive to Survive over the weekend?
I watched the first episode.
Was I the only one? Okay, I've seen the entire thing. I blew through it this season. I was actually shocked I made it through. Steven?
I don't pay for Netflix.
Yar.
Exactly.
I know you have the capability to get it.
Don't you have a
Steven.
Yar?
Okay, that pirate ship does not have it yet. I checked.
Okay, fine.
All right.
So
okay,
I do need to resource my pirating.
What I will say is we can save our review of it for a future episode, but I thought it was actually pretty well done and pretty good this season. Overall. Wasn't terrible.
The first episode, because that's all I can base off of, oh my God, they really made Horner look terrible.
I mean,
They did. I mean, he made himself look terrible with all the
Yeah.
things that happened.
They did.
But
I loved when it kind of talks about like the anonymous email being sent. It's like, yeah, but you know who sent it? And he's just like,
mhm.
just doesn't answer really. Just kind of has a little shading like smirk going, like, can't say it. And actually, I guess before we get into the review stuff, apparently, based on that Horner stuff, that is still ongoing.
yeah.
It is still ongoing.
Yeah,
Isn't the trial supposed to start like January next year or something?
maybe.
Yeah.
It's like
Something
that
like
far
that.
out.
Apparently, there's a gag order on it too. Like people, they can't really report on it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, there
Makes
it is.
sense.
Not at
It
all
is
surprised by that.
still ongoing.
Yeah.
Or
I will.
sh-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, shouldn't say makes sense. That sounds very bad. I am not surprised there's a gag order. Just want to
Yeah.
clarify that. It does not make sense to have a gag order on this.
I think that was actually one of Horner's texts.
There
Oh,
it is.
boy.
Hey,
The first episode, what I found the most interesting was like how shook people were with Lewis's decision to leave Mercedes, but like the behind the scenes of Toto learning that information, like apparently was very out of the blue, and how like just him kind of processing how he's going to have to fill that seat and who he can talk to fill a seat. And I found I thought that it was just a bunch of bull that he was actually interested in Max, but he legitimately had conversations with Yos about Max potentially coming to Mercedes, and I was like, interesting. I thought this was a hoax. So
damn.
you learn new things, but I would say overall it was actually pretty well done this season, and it wasn't like, I think they had so much that they didn't need to manufacture stuff, which was kind of nice.
That's fair. Anyway, okay, jumping off into our 2025 F1 season preview. Where do y'all want to begin? Do you guys want to talk about, I guess, some of the new look teams? Do you want to go right into constructors? Do you want to talk drivers? What are we thinking with this?
I think we almost should go through team by team.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
then
think
you-
it might
then
be
you can sort of
easier.
Yeah, you can hit
Okay.
everything that way.
Okay.
So, do we want to go front of the grid to the back or back to front?
Let's go back to front.
Yeah, why not?
Good. Now I don't remember who actually finished last year.
I'm pretty sure who finished last?
Yeah.
Was it? It
Wasn't
was
it-
Kick Sauber.
Yeah, it was a Sauber.
It was definitely Sauber.
All right, Sauber with their what is it? New lineup: Gabriel Bortoleto, Nico Hülkenberg,
Hülkenberg.
their Brat summer car.
Right.
The
Huh?
Brat Summer.
I'll be honest, I am not
I-
expecting a lot from them.
No, I was just gonna say I don't have a lot of hope for them to improve much from last year. Yeah. There's really not much I could say about Kick Sauber because I just don't think that it's gonna be a good season for them again.
Yeah, you're bringing on a rookie driver, pairing him with a veteran. You have absolutely zero expectations of success. You are basically just holding on until you become Audi.
Exactly.
This
is
team,
their last year as this anyway. So
this team is free money. If I'm Nico Hülkenberg, I would love to be on this team because I have zero expectations. As Gabriel Bortoleto, it's a great team to make your F1 debut because there are no expectations. They finished last year, and I wonder what our rankings and predictions will be, but I imagine most people will have them last again.
last again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever happens this year with, I would say, the Kick Sauber team, as long as they don't have a double last place finish every single race, I think it's a good season for them. And could they maybe jump up? Possibly. We know Hülkenberg is a veteran. He does have good pace. Not like top 3 pace ever, but like
Yeah.
But he could maybe surprise us and get into like a Q2 maybe.
On
Like
a
I think
good day.
the goal is to get a point. If you can get a point, you did okay.
Yeah, finish the season with more than 0 points, and I think as long
Yeah.
as you do that, I think you could definitely you could look at the season as a success.
Mm-hmm.
Last year they somehow scored 4 points.
That is
And
incredible considering the season. So I guess maybe goal is score more than 4 points and you can call it a success.
Yep. Oh God.
Yeah, I
this
think
is
it's
gonna
fair.
be a long year for any Kick Sauber fans.
There are Kick Sauber fans.
Are there
Maybe.
Kick Sauber
Maybe.
Listen,
fans?
it's going to be a long year for Kick Sauber fan.
Yes.
The one
Fan.
out there. They're not listening to this, I guarantee it, but there is the one out there somewhere.
Yeah.
But okay, so the question would be though, is are you a Kick Sauber fan, like of the team, or are you a Hulkenberg fan? Because I could see it being like, oh, I like this team because my favorite driver Hulkenberg is on it.
I was going to make the joke that the actual fan is Gabrielle Bordello's mother.
Yep. Exactly.
Fair enough. Oh,
Yeah, but you know
okay.
it's never good when F1 did their F1 fantasy like promo video, and Hulkenberg's it was basically like each driver pitches why they would be a good choice, and Hulkenberg's was, I'm gonna be cheap.
That's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong, but if that's your selling point, yeah.
Again, you have a season with how many rookies going into it?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 6.
4?
Six.
6? Oh yeah, Ollie Behrman, Gabriel Bortoletto, Jack Doohan, Kimmy, and who
Hajar.
am I missing? Hajar.
Yeah.
Wow, 6 rookies.
And let's be honest, one of them's going to be replaced mid-season.
100%. Yep.
There's already a target on Jack Doohan's back.
Yep.
Yeah, his replacement's waiting in the wings.
Yeah,
The check clears after race number 3. Get the fuck out.
basically. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of rookies. There's a lot of room for mistakes this year, and for Kick Sauber and if you're Hulkenberg, keep it on the track and you might get some points.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep.
Especially,
Bide your time.
did you see the forecast for race number 1? It's supposed to rain this weekend.
Boy.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it all.
We'll get to
Okay,
that
so
in
yeah.
our predictions for this weekend.
Yeah. So so in other words, though, not a lot of notes for Sauber. So we'll move on to Williams. Carlos Sainz, Alex
Williams.
Albon. Do you have some semi-renewed hope with a updated lineup?
Yes, actually. I do.
do actually. And I will say that Drive to Survive like heightened my hope for Williams, because they must have sold something to Carlos Sainz, because Carlos Sainz had multiple offers. And I'm sure like Williams wasn't necessarily the biggest paycheck. So whatever they're selling in terms of a plan and where they are going and what they want to do with the car was enough to get him. So I have hope that they're going to come out and I think definitely improve on last season.
No, I think so. I think they are poised to be one of the teams that surprise people, I think, this year.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe we're looking at a best of the rest.
I didn't want to go there, but in my predictions, yes, I do have them.
Yeah.
They looked strong in testing. They have 2 very good drivers. Again, we're not going to read into testing, but also reading into testing, they have pace. You have Sainz and Albon, who are very much guys in their prime that have strong pace that we have seen. Guys that might have chips on their shoulders being dropped from bigger teams. Like, I would happily bet on them as best the rest. I don't think they're near podium territory at all, but I could definitely see them being the Q3 team.
Yeah, and I mean they sort of got there from time to time last season because they do have. If their car's philosophy is similar to last year, their focus is high end speed. They're going to have certain tracks where that plays into their car's abilities. You have a much improved driver lineup, just adding in Carlos Sainz. So
I just love that, like, oh, Williams' car philosophy is straight end speed. It's been that since 2014.
yeah,
Because they can't afford to put wings on the damn thing, or at least develop them. Like, of course it's going to be straight line speed. That's what they've kind of had to go with over the years.
yep,
But
yeah, but I guess
it's that team's philosophy.
yep. So they'll have their moments. I'm struggling to see them fully. Well, and here's the only thing I'll say with that talk of best of the rest is with how even the field is now, I'd say, or at least people's expectations of the field, best of the rest could be a much lower bar this year in terms of getting up there, right?
Yep. And that's
Very
why
true.
I would likely give them the best of the rest caveat, simply because of the driver lineup.
Okay.
If you're looking
Yeah.
at the rest, it is young guy and rookie.
Yeah.
And, two guys, Sainz and Albon, that might just be the lineup to bet on.
Yeah. I think and I do wonder how much they were weighted down by Sargent's lack of talent or ability to finish a race without crashing. And they spent a lot of money in damage last year. So I do wonder how much that impacted them in the season. So I'm hoping that with the two more experienced drivers in the lineup that they'll see some success. I think that they were hoping for when Vowles took over at the beginning of last season or the year before. But yeah, I think it'll be a good season for them. I have hope.
All right. Very positive outlook for Williams then. Okay. Next team who finally decided on a fucking name. So Visa Cash App Racing Bulls F1 team. Also sponsored by
V-Carb.
MasterCard and
V-Carb.
Venmo and Cash App and Interact and
Oh boy.
how many payment systems can I name?
The deep web.
PayPal,
Dark web.
Murder for Hire. But yeah, so you have Yuki Tsunoda, rookie Isaac Hadar. Yeah, kind of that guy who's been around for a little bit, and rookie lineup that Sean was just referencing. On a hot start with best livery.
They do have the
So,
best livery.
They do have that.
Yeah.
They do have that going
Yeah,
for
it's
them.
true. True.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think, this team. I think there is pressure to perform from Yuki and Hajar because we know how Red Bull is with drivers getting promoted to be alongside Max. If Liam Lawson obviously does not live up, those two guys could be next on the list. So
I don't know though.
I think
Like,
they
I just
have
don't
to
know.
perform. And I think this is the team with the least amount of pressure on the crews, the most amount of pressure on the drivers.
Will that negatively impact them though in terms of performance?
If I was to predict drivers most likely to crash into their teammates, it would be these two.
Not Haas.
No, not Haas.
I'd say that's a pretty close one too, just because Ocon.
He won't be close enough to Behrman.
Oh, fair. Wow.
So yeah, I think for these guys, I think they're going to be in the same position as they were last year. It all depends on the right races going the right way for them to really move up the standings in big ways. And yeah, it's mostly going to be on the two drivers to fight it out all year.
Agreed. And I think my bold prediction for this team is I think that this might just be Yuki's last year in the Red Bull family. I think because of just like, I mean, there was an open seat, right? If Red Bull felt like that Yuki was ready after like how many seasons now
4?
in the junior team? 4 seasons in the junior team. At what point is it time to consider going to another team because you're just not going to get that shot with them? Like Red Bull is notoriously stingy. They promoted Liam because they liked what they saw, and I get it. It sucks for Yuki, and I think after this season, you're probably not going to get a promotion to that seat again. I think Yuki moves on.
Yeah, makes
I
sense.
think that's fair. Yeah.
The only thing would be, so we had a high amount of turnover with 6 rookies coming in this year. Where does he go? And I mean, there is Cadillac, which could be an option if you want a truly fresh start.
Audi
is
an option.
If Hulkenberg doesn't stick around for more than this year.
Honda is coming to Aston Martin. Right?
If
Apparently
Fernando
they're
Alonso
having
decides
issues.
to retire. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Maybe
if
they're
Fernando
having issues. But I think there will be options for him.
Mhm.
I anticipate there being options for him to go elsewhere.
But again, regardless if there are options or not, if he is out of the Red Bull family, this is a year that Yuki needs to show that he is a top guy. He needs to blow Hadjar out of the water.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even be putting pressure on Lawson internally at Red Bull. Because
Yep.
that was good. That was going to be my follow-up question to you guys. Was, do we get a driver swap at some point this season? Yes or no? Is Yuki
Red
still
Bull or on the
number
grid?
one here? Red Bull, specifically Yuki and Lawson.
No.
I think Red Bull likes Lawson too much.
Yeah, that's fair. I also think there won't be anything. I was just curious if that was creeping into anyone's mind at this point. But
It would be fun.
Max mid-season retires.
Has a kid
actually,
out.
there would be one way. Kid's born. Max just swears 3 times on radio. Takes a race off. Yuki gets bumped up for a race.
That'd be hilarious.
He takes extended paternity leave.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess it's all for VCarb.
Yep. Haas.
Oh, Haas.
Oh, Haas. No, I think Haas is going to be a good team this year.
I
Fairman
think they're
and Ocon.
probably going to be up there too.
Yeah. We saw towards the end of last season, they were having good pace. They seemed to figure something out in the car. I think it's a good start for Ocon. I think this is a fresh start. You've moved away from, Alpine, which has been your home for the last few years. It really could be make or break for his F1 career.
Yeah.
Because he was Racing Point / Force India. Then he was Alpine, now Haas. Okay, your third team. You seem to be going backwards on the grid.
Mm-hmm.
If you can drag it forward, or this team has been the one that you then maybe put yourself in the best of the rest spot, it could be a very good year for Ocon if he has guessed correctly.
Yeah.
Now
then
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, other side of the garage, you also have Ollie Behrman, who only got 3 races in F1 last year, but was mid-pack the entire time. So
Yeah.
has the skill to stick around. I think the bigger question will be the car and how that develops throughout the year.
Yeah. Does Haas
absolutely.
have the resources? They have the new Toyota partnership, so they might get some more technical data.
Right.
Is Haas on the right path forward? A lot of signs kind of point to yes, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I would be high on Haas going into the season. Like, honestly, looking at, if I had to pick like 3 teams to be high on, 2 of them are Williams, Haas, and the third one we will get to of the one to be high on.
It's gonna be Aston Martin. I already know it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay.
Don't
We already
try and
know.
hide it. Don't try and hide
Don't hide. We know. It's not? Wow. Okay. Anyway.
Nope.
I would agree. Like, I could foresee maybe a battle between Haas and Williams, kind of best of the rest scenario. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be such a tight midfield, and I think Haas is going to be fighting for it. Williams will be fighting for it. I know we're going to move forward with other teams, but I could see Haas definitely being competitive this season. So, and I think Ocon is a good move. Like, at this point in his career, he needed something different. And I think Haas gives him that opportunity to kind of do more with what he has. So here's hoping. And I'm excited for Ollie. Like, I think he's really great young driver to have in the Ferrari family. So you never know. There's always eyes from the Ferrari camp looking at
Replaces
the
Lewis
Haas drivers.
Hamilton mid-season.
No. So I have high hopes for them as well.
All right. So very optimistic start through 4 teams so far, other than Sauber.
All
Yeah.
except Sauber.
But I mean, at the same time, so just a reminder,
Well,
we were sort of saying this about Alpine last year, and they turned out to be all right.
They had
So,
one lucky race.
Yes, that is true.
mm-hmm.
But they did, again, I still think we were sort of talking about Alpine of, can they get a point this year? So
That's fair.
Yeah, fair.
and then speaking of Alpine, they're next on the list. So
Yep.
how do we feel about Alpine this year? Obviously, as Sean just said, a little lucky. We'll see how the 2 shaved head boys do this year.
Okay, did they have like
Extra-
a mandate to do that? Just
Extra
can we-
aerodynamics.
maybe, but like it looks awful on Gasly, right? Can we agree on that?
Yes.
I hate it. I hate it.
That's fair.
It's also
I saw the haircuts and I was like, why?
the only other thing I'll say is, why wouldn't you reshave it for your promos? Because right now it's in that weird
In between.
growing out. Yeah, it's starting to grow out length, but it looks bad right now. I was like, reshave it for the promos. You have to look at this all season, man.
It's giving European frat bro.
Yeah.
Hey. Bottas is European frat bro.
Yes.
No.
No one will take that
Bottas is
away.
Australian porn star. Everyone was saying this.
That is so true.
So, anywho, Alpine on track, shaved heads, maybe aerodynamic advantage,
Maybe
I don't have
cooler
high hopes.
heads under the helmet. I don't know.
something like that.
Yeah.
I think Gasly will do the best he can, but honestly, do not have high hopes for Doohan. I really don't.
Yeah, for me, this is a Gasly show. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think Doohan lasts the season. There's already rumbles that he won't. Colapinto, I think, is waiting there to take that seat. And yeah, it's the Gasly show. If he is not consistently Q2, it's a problem. Doohan, I will be surprised if he gets out of Q1.
Yeah, I think Flavio is going to make moves quickly in the driver lineup. I don't think Doohan lasts even to halfway through the season.
I'll give them to summer break.
Okay.
They gotta make sure that
Optimistic.
the check clears.
That's fair.
That's fair.
But yeah, this team is going to be weird. They're adjusting from being a works team, getting the Renault factory closed down for their engine. So now you're changing over your engineering team's thinking of how your car works. So yeah, I think this team's going to be back to being a bit of a mess. So unless lightning strikes twice, and they get another lucky finish, could be a long year for the pink and blue.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right. The surprisingly not Sean hype train pick, Aston Martin. Adrian Newey is now on board officially. He can start doing all his fun shenanigans with the car. Alonso is still here. Lance Stroll is still here, to the bewilderment of many. Thoughts?
I'll let y'all
feelings?
go first before I go off.
Is like the bewilderment really apply to Lance Stroll because like Daddy Stroll owns the team? It's not a
From a
surprise
bit-
he's
from-
still there.
From a business standpoint, it does.
Yeah, true.
The only selling point
true.
is Canadian driver to stick,
Yay!
but no one wants to stick their
hmm.
their flag on the Canadian driver hill right now.
Will it cost them 25%
I
more?
I will
Anyway.
I will still support Stroll and support this
Oh
team.
yeah, you can
Yes.
hope for him to do well, but it's just not been going well. Like there was times where it's like, okay, the car is clearly not great the last couple seasons. You've seen fall off on Alonso and Stroll throughout the season. They have not developed the cars through the season. They come out the gates hot, but then
Mhm.
just everything falls off. So I guess can Newey change that direction and bring some credibility back to Aston Martin this year?
I think Newey can. I do not think it's this year.
I think
I'm sort of in the same vein.
Yeah, like I feel like I was just reading like some of the analysis because I didn't really pay attention that closely to testing, so I don't know where they fall. But apparently the car is more drivable. But saying that it's more drivable doesn't necessarily instill hope. So I think Newey's greatest strength is new regulations, and we know those are coming next year. I think this car will just be like basically getting from A to B, right? Like he will have a new set of things that he can be creative with. And because he wasn't able necessarily to start working on the car right away, like there was a period of time where they started developing probably this year's car and he wasn't able to work on it. I think he probably inherited a lot of things that maybe he wouldn't have chosen for the car. So I think we will get to see Newey's influence not this season but next.
Yeah. If I'm Aston Martin, I take Newey and I lock him in a back room and just stick the 2026 regulations and a blueprint on a desk with a bunch of pencils and say, work on that. Maybe toss us a wing every once in a while, just to show. Yeah, we're
give
doing
us a
some...
wing. Give us a wing on your bathroom break or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I like why bother dumping a ton of resources into this season?
I don't think it's going to be good. Like you've said before, like they were able to get where they were in the standings by starting off strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think they have that strong lead this year. I don't even know if they're going to be in the points in the first couple of races. Yeah, it's more drivable, I guess, but they didn't look like they looked too comfortable during testing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple clips of just horrible understeer on the car.
Oh dear.
Where like it was like, really, this is not looking that good.
Yeah, Stroll's cranked all the way over,
and it's just
Oh,
not turning.
boy.
No, he was full cranked, and it was not turning, and he was not going fast or anything. It was like, what is happening on this setup? So
Yeah, that is not instill.
I am not confident in them at all. I will put them as my shocking bad team of the year.
All right. Wow. That is a rare.
Oh, I'm still gonna hype them up when they do well, and just be like, "Wow, you doubted us."
Oh boy.
But I will still doubt them myself because I've learned not to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Aha!
The opposite of a Ferrari fan.
Exactly. Nice hat, by the way. Notice you guys decided to rock your McLaren gear, your Ferrari gear, and I'm just rocking the every single team shirt because
I know you're team agnostic this year.
No, I'm team high that I'm an Aston Martin fan for this season.
Yeah. Team bandwagon and in summer break.
Bandwagon.
Anyway, moving on from that
Yeah.
into the Big
Mercedes.
Four. Yeah.
Oh, Mercedes.
Kimi baby Antonelli, who apparently just got his driver's license like 3 weeks ago or something, so he can legally drive a street car, and now he's gonna be hopping into this fucking monstrosity of a car.
Max had
I mean,
Max won a race before he had his license. Nothing wrong with that.
that's true. That's
Yeah. Anyway, baby Antonelli.
true. And George Prep Boy Russell.
Okay. Well, I think they'll be like basically the same as last year. Like I think they'll be in contention, they'll be competitive. Bottom of the top 4. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Again.
I can see Russell having good races. I don't know if we're going to have the same closeness of last year on. We're going to have, 8 different winners last year? Every one of the Big Four won?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're getting that again. I don't know if either of these two guys will get a race. Maybe Russell gets close. But I can see Russell fighting for podium spots, for fighting for top 5. Those battles will be key, I think, throughout the season. So, Kimi, it is just, if you could just finish right behind Russell every race, or maybe a car between you guys, I think that's a good season.
Yep.
Yeah. It's going to be very much, I think, a first season performance from Kimi Antonelli. Like, he will have to get used to the car. He will have to get used to how races are raced in F1. So I think we'll just get like kind of the typical first season out of him. But we'll see.
Anything more like Kimi does. If Kimi can do anything besides consistent top 8, I will say, if he is putting his car where it should be, which is in the top 8 spots of the Big Four, fantastic. If you are getting podiums, if you manage to get a win, oh my God, that is
like,
incredible.
wow.
All the props to you.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not, hey, there's nothing wrong with just on your first year staying to where you should be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, he has to win one of the first 3 races to become the youngest race winner ever, or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
No, it will not. Puts a bet down.
Slams money for Australia.
Oof.
Okay, but yeah. Yeah, back of the top 4 or Formula A. Don't see them. I don't see anybody else jumping up really to sort of nip at their heels, but I also don't see Mercedes necessarily, unless Red Bull really falls off the wagon this year in terms of developing their car. Yeah,
which they might. Who knows?
They might, but
I still feel like you have like the bottom 6 and the top 4.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and Mercedes is just, I think, clearly cut to be that 4 spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, barring a major collapse from Red Bull, because I don't see the other 2 falling back that far.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Kimi is going to be a bit of a wonder kid.
Is that a Ted Lasso reference?
Yes.
God damn it. Oh, disappointing. Anyway,
Why are you
I think
disappointed with a Ted Lasso reference?
I just didn't expect it from Steven, that's all.
Why?
I don't know.
Show. It's one of the best shows.
It is. It's a fantastic
It really
show.
is. Anyway.
Anywho, the team that was 3rd last year, Red Bull. Liam Lawson in. Max Verstappen still here, still dominant. Maybe
I could see it being a better
somewhat
year
less
for them.
focused.
Yeah.
I think Max will still be Max. Max will get wins. Red Bull still was a great car last year. We knew that. The reason they struggled was because they were essentially a one-car team.
Yeah, because they decided to keep Sergio for whatever reason, which was so out of character for them. But
Exactly. So Sergio's gone. Lawson's in.
Yeah.
All
I
he
think
has to do is
Lawson
be
will
up
better.
there. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I think he has good pace. So we'll see. We will see. But I do think that they will. Yeah, I would agree. I think they'll have a stronger year than they did last year.
Yeah. I could see them fighting for championship actually with Ferrari, with McLaren, making it a 3-team fight, almost having a top 3, Mercedes, then the rest. I could kind of see for this season. Or they fall down to Mercedes and you have a top 2, a middle 2, and the rest. Yep. Those are kind of the two ways I see it going.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see how their car concept comes together this year. I don't know if you guys saw, but Adrian Newey basically just dissed the entire Red Bull team and said they had a lack of experience and basically that I was doing everything.
Oh.
But
I mean, I believe it, but...
Yeah.
Ooh.
But so... It's going to be interesting to see if... And, I mean, to be fair, we did also see a lot of fall-off in the car performance after Miami, which is when Newey left, so... You know, it's not unfounded, but is it more that they've tried to make Newey's concepts work and they didn't understand it? And that can easily be fixed by having, okay, we have our new technical direction that we know how we're going to develop. Or is it just going to be, no, this team is now very inexperienced, doesn't know what they're doing in terms of car development, and this car falls back?
Just to reiterate, you're saying they had a massive fall off after Miami.
Well, in terms of dominance.
I know. Max's worst place finish after Miami was still 6th. The entire season, the worst he was 6th.
Yes, but how did that season start? It started with them going 1-2, 1-2, 5 retirement, 1-2, 1-3.
Yeah, and then Paris forgot how to drive.
Yeah, and again, I think the car also fell back a little bit. Like they had a long stretch from Austria to when was Max's next win? Not until Brazil, where Max did not win.
Yeah,
the car was
a hilarious stretch though, where all of a sudden for like a month, Mercedes were the fastest team, and then all of a sudden it was Ferrari, and then it was McLaren. Like, it was hilarious how each teams kept jumping above each other, and you couldn't tell every week who was actually going to win. It was a great time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not doubting that. But again, like, I'm thinking if Newey is still there, I think their car development is stronger. They stay at the top, and they're not having like that long a stretch without a win, is what I'm saying.
That's fair. But I still see them going to be a top 3 team. And I still don't doubt that Max will finish better than 6th every week.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and again, I think it's more, again, car performance, can they limit damage on the second car with Lawson?
And I think the answer is probably,
Probably, but again, and it's also, I don't think they'll get, 1-2, 1-2 to start the season where we're like, shit, here we go again. So... couple extra points not banked. Either way, we'll see. Again, I think the consensus is this will still be a top 3 team. Where in the top 3, not for sure. They're clearly not the dominant force where it's like, they're just gonna be 1 again. So, and who knows? Maybe they take Newey's comments personally and come out with a absolute ripper of a car.
Also true. Anyway, number 2.
Ferrari. Forza Ferrari.
Taylor, go ahead. Give us your Ferrari take.
Ferrari is going to be number 1 this year.
That's such
a bad prediction every year.
Such a bad take.
Why? I don't know. Like, they were very competitive last season. I could see them coming out and being even more competitive. I think Lewis is a fantastic add to this team. I think he brings a lot of experience. And a lot of leadership. And I think, honestly, like, I know that Leclerc has typically been the number 1 at Ferrari for a very long time, and I'm sure that he feels very, like, I don't know.
Comfortable?
Like, I don't know, like, comfortable in that role.
Complacent.
But I think Lewis is going to challenge that. I think, if anything, Lewis is probably the easy number 1 at that team now. So I think Leclerc I hope that he takes this as an opportunity to learn from someone who's been in F1 for a long time, who has 7 world championships to his name. There is a lot that he can learn from him, and I really hope that he does. But I see great things. I really hope that Hamilton has a good season. I think Ferrari does provide him a better opportunity to see more success. So here's hoping. But I see it as a very good year for Ferrari, and I think that it's going to, again, be a very tight, contentious Constructors' Championship, likely between Ferrari and McLaren.
If we were redoing last season and Lewis Hamilton's with Ferrari, I think Ferrari wins the title.
I agree.
But we are not in last season. We are in this season.
We're in this season, and I think McLaren will be worse.
I think
This
McLaren looks fucking bulletproof.
Yeah, whatever.
Two very different directions.
Yeah.
And I guess we're just going to turn this into both teams here, because I think in the end we're saying these are going to be the two teams
Fighting
duking it out for the constructors.
I think that's fair.
So.
I don't really have much more to add to Ferrari. I think Taylor kind of nails it with Lewis coming in. It's going to be a very different dynamic there. Again, very talented, greatest of all time driver. And then we hop over to McLaren, a team that I think is hungry. I think they are very happy they won constructors last year. They want drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Lando wants drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the biggest thing stopping Lando from getting drivers, I think, is Lando.
Yes, it is himself. 100%. That's another, I will say, this is another perspective that you get out of the most recent Drive to Survive season, is you could see how much Lando, I think, struggles with holding himself back, just like the way that he sometimes reacts to things and the way that he doesn't necessarily think the race through. But you can also see how much he wants that championship. So I don't know. It's, you get to a point where does Lando learn from past mistakes and start making decisions a little bit better in the race? But we'll see. I mean, the car is there. We know this. So it's really kind of almost a toss-up between, is it Lando's race or is it Piastri's race?
I think that is a fantastic question because I actually don't know. I really do not know.
Well, you already sort of saw it at the end of last year with the papaya rules being implemented, right? So what are we going to prioritize this year? What point do we have to sacrifice someone's race for a possible driver's championship?
Yeah, and I think depending on who you ask, I think there are people out there who would say that Piastri is the stronger driver of the two.
I agree, but I also think Piastri is not a crybaby.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's not.
So if you cut him and make him play the team game, the other guy will be fine with it. But if you make the other guy, make Lando do the team game, I don't think you will hear the end of it. So for that, I think team attitude gives it to Lando. Mm-hmm. And I think this team is going to be number one, and I think Lando's going to win his first championship. Because I think the team is going to give it to him. And I think
the team will give it to him.
Well, I think Piastri's too nice. I think papaya rules will come in. I don't think they'll allow them to fight. Their car looks really good.
Yep.
So though, the only thing I agree with you. I do think that McLaren will be there. They're fast. The only thing that I'll question is Piastri too nice? Because they did have a moment on track when Piastri was like, I'm just not going to give him this position.
Yeah, and we don't know how that was resolved.
We don't.
And it is true. We do not know what it would be. So We know today Piastri was also just signed to an extension.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Beat you to it.
Does that bring in an extra air of confidence along with, say, a hotter start where, again, you'll note that I said, when do we start sacrificing someone else's season for the other driver's season? Lots can happen on track where someone falls out and it's, okay, we got to think about how this is going to go long term. Like Lando crashes out, say 3 of the first 4 races, starting way on the back foot. Piastri still finishes strong, maybe has a win or 2 in that same span. It's like a fifth, anywhere from, like, let's say 30 to 50 point gap between the two.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Ferrari's strong as well. At what point do you say, okay,
exactly? I was going to say, when
if
Ferrari comes in, it all depends, I think, on Ferrari. If it's straight up McLaren versus McLaren for the season, I think Piastri has it. I'm sorry. Nope. Change that. I think Norris has it over Piastri. But if it all of a sudden becomes a true, like, McLaren versus Ferrari kind of thing going on, and you need both cars always performing every single week and battling every single week, like, if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, any combination of them, maybe over the season, Piastri is the guy.
Yep. Yeah, and honestly, like, it could be also a question of, the cooler head prevails, because I think part of the issue with Lando is that he does have a little bit of an attitude. I think he does get in his own way because of his attitude. I think he has a sense of entitlement that can hold him back. So, and I think Piastri just is kind of like level. Like, you didn't really see him.
He's chill all the time.
Yeah, he's chill. He's very level-headed. And I think sometimes it's the level-headedness that ends up being more successful. Because you have less of those, like, intense, frustrating moments in a race where things aren't necessarily going your way. You can make a little bit better decisions.
It's kind of Prost v Senna vibes, okay?
Yes.
Prost was always the kind of calm, cool guy. Senna, the hot-headed, and again, we will kind of see what plays out.
Yeah,
we'll see.
The solutions to every problem for McLaren are in the garage, and the issues that could rear their head are also within the garage between Piastri possibly taking over and Lando showing mental weakness and I won't say mental weakness, mental lapses at times when things aren't going his way. So I guess with every team reviewed now, what do we want to do? Do we want to do constructors or head to head first?
I want to do constructors. I want to do constructors and top 5 finishing order for the season.
Okay.
Or did we do top 5 or top 10 last year?
I think we did top 5. We also, we did top 5 and head to head last year.
Perfect. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So let's start constructors. Because I think we have an idea of how we're all going to rank that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 10.
Kick Sauber.
Okay, we're all in agreement there.
Yeah.
So this could be very boring.
No, it's not.
Actually, you know where it'll be. You know where it'll be good
9.
From 3 through 8 or 9.
Yeah.
All right, 9th spot. No one wants to go first.
Aston Martin.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yep.
What?
Wow.
This is a surprise.
The hype train is derailed. It has ended up in a small village in Quebec. There is fuel leaking everywhere.
Crash.
Yeah. Not good on the Aston Martin hype train, and I am reading the writing on the walls, and I do not think it's a good year. And I don't think they try much anyway, because they will focus more on next year with a full year of Newey.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Interesting.
Taylor?
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with V-carb.
Okay. Reasoning, elaboration,
Vibes.
I mean,
vibes.
just the vibes. No, because I think I don't know. Like I could see them struggling. I'm not sure how great the car is. Like the car was okay, but both Yuki and I mean like the revolving door drivers in V-Carb last year. I don't know. Like I think the pressure might get to him, and maybe he's at a point where he's like, "Okay, I didn't get the Red Bull seat. Meh." And maybe he's shopping around, but I think he'll try his best. I don't necessarily have like rookies are rookies. First years can hit or miss. I think maybe it might be a miss, but I don't know. I think maybe they'll struggle. And I just see like other teams doing better than maybe they will.
That's fair.
Okay, fair enough. I went Alpine for 9th. I think this
Okay.
team's
Interesting.
gonna be
I
a
was
struggle.
going in between.
Yeah, I think this team's gonna be a bit of a struggle bus, and then Doohan's gonna struggle once the pressure comes on after like 5 races if he doesn't do well. That, and like Sean said, they sort of got lucky with their points last year for a bulk of them. So that with the engine change, or yeah, the engine / entire power unit change, this team's gonna be on the back
that's
foot.
fair.
Fair enough.
Okay, 8th.
8th, I was gonna go with Alpine because I also see them struggling. But I think that maybe a driver change halfway through the season can help them a little bit with Colapinto, because I actually quite like Colapinto and I think that he brings a lot of talent. So I don't know. I think Gasly will do it. Like again, I think he'll do the best he can with whatever he's got, but we'll see. I could see them I solidly placing them in 8th. I think is good.
Yeah, I'm going V-Carb.
I went V-Carb as well.
Yeah.
Sort of like we went over the notes already. These are the teams that are going to be sort of towards the bottom most likely anyways, so
I also feel like
Fair.
for me, because I kind of have like Aston Martin, V-Carb, and Alpine kind of under this one blanket where like I think they'll be better than Sauber. I don't think they're better than
Williams and Haas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, it's driver lineup that's really making a big difference here. I think Stroll and Alonso might just say fuck it halfway through the season and stop trying if the car is really that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I think Stroll just struggles getting out of bed some days regardless, so
Well, things have changed in a single year.
I still love him. I still love the man. It's great. No. I love his just like, why the fuck am I here attitude. It like he looks high as fuck all the time. It's great.
True. So true.
But then, okay, I'm thinking Doohan, Hajar, okay, both of you will finish like, I don't know, 12th to 15th every week, sure. Who's scoring the points? And to me, I think Gasly was scoring more than Yuki. That's why I'm putting V-Carb, my 8th team.
Okay.
And then my 7th
Yeah,
team will obviously be them. But
Yeah, so you're going Alpine. I'm sort of the same thing. I just have Aston finishing 7th instead of 9th. I think Newey does do a little bit of work, gives them something to play with. Little taste to keep Alonso's interest sort of peaked throughout the season. Little upgrades here and there. Nothing too drastic to make them great, but something that'll get them over the other two is
That's
my
fair.
thought.
Yeah. I also had Aston Martin at 7th.
Okay.
I like how
Quick
we have like a
development.
pretty solid bottom four I'm seeing. Like we kind of are all in pretty much agreement to those teams.
Yep. So I guess so we've sort of defined where each team is going to finish roughly. So I guess 5, 6. Who's winning the Haas Williams battle for you guys?
I think Haas at 6, Williams at 5.
Honestly, I'm
Okay.
thinking the same. It comes down to driver lineup.
Yep.
Yep.
I think Williams just has a little bit more of a stronger lineup with like talent wise and experience wise.
Talent wise, experience, and they might get some money this year with a nice title sponsor for Williams. Like, hey, like that team could be shocking.
That
Yes.
and they have the backing of Jack Whitehall, who called James Vowles the greatest
Definitely.
team principal. So yeah, we're all sort of the same, and I think we already went over why these teams will sort of be over those other 4 teams.
I think good
really
years
see-
for them. I think it's going to be probably the best
Yeah.
year for
Yeah.
Haas ever, and really good year for Williams. Like really good bounce back year they haven't had in like a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also these two. I think are going to be so close. I won't be surprised. I will not be upset if we're wrong on this one.
Yep.
Where Haas slightly edges out Williams.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll see. Red Bull, Mercedes. I'm just going to group them all because we went over who we think's going to end up where. so-
Mercedes is fourth, 100%.
Yes.
Okay, so we're all going to be roughly the same
Yep.
here as well. Red Bull third
Yeah.
for everybody. Okay, again, went
Yeah.
over the reasons.
Yeah.
So now the $1 million question, or I guess multi-million-dollar question when it comes to the teams. And I think we have a pretty clear idea for at least two of us who's going to be on
Yes.
top. So the real question is, Sean, are you siding
Sean,
with
who are
Taylor and
you?
Ferrari or me and McLaren?
The data don't lie. And
The data don't lie.
the fact that during testing, Ferrari, I think it was Ferrari, Red Bull, no, it wasn't Ferrari, I think. No, it was Ferrari. Ferrari, Mercedes, I think, and McLaren all did a race simulation at the same time with different, I think there was a different tire strategy, but it was still a race simulation of full race distance.
Mm-hmm.
Based on timing, McLaren was 30 seconds ahead.
Oof.
I gotta give it to McLaren. I'm sorry, Taylor.
It's just a sim. It's just a sim. It's not
Sean
real
is-
world conditions.
John is reading into the testing. Noted.
Not- but-
You're
okay,
reading into testing.
the data
and when
shows
you're
that
wrong,
they're fucking fast.
Yeah.
They might be fast, but Ferrari will be faster. Okay. All I'm saying is when Ferrari wins the championship this year, can't wait for you to eat your words.
I will buy you
No,
like
you won't.
$200 of Ferrari merch if they win the championship. Okay.
No, you won't.
I was gonna
No,
say,
you won't.
You still haven't bought the Kiffin Simpson shirt.
he hasn't won a race yet. It's
Fact.
fine.
At this point, you should buy it if he qualifies, like, in the top 10.
If he gets a podium, I'll buy it.
There you go.
Oh, here we go.
Top 5 finish. Fine. I'll move the goalpost some more.
All right, fine, whatever.
Lastly, driver top 5. You sticking with Lando, Sean?
Gosh, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Lando to my 1.
Interesting. Okay, Lewis Hamilton. I'm kidding. I'm gonna go with. Honestly, I'm gonna go with Piastri because I could see McLaren having a good race, but I think McLaren opts for Oscar instead of Lando.
I'm thinking it's also going to be Lando. I do want it to be Piastri. Personally, I like Piastri over Lando, but I think they're going to try and get Lando a championship here.
So based on
Let's see more.
Taylor's prediction, is McLaren getting drivers, but Ferrari getting constructors?
Okay, Max had the drivers, but
No.
McLaren won the-
I am just making sure that we're on board with that because honestly, I think that's a pretty
Right.
bold prediction in itself.
correct.
I
Yes.
don't think that's out of the round of possibility if it's a similar fight to last year. Like that'd be a really fun season.
No, again, we already sort of laid out how that could happen.
Yeah.
Right.
How it could happen.
All it takes is like a bad month.
Yep.
And bad months happen.
So
Usually every season.
and I mean Piastri gets a bit of an advantage having his home race be first.
Yeah.
Right? No pressure, no
No, it's
just
true.
personal expectation to do well in front of the fans. So
Yep. Anyway.
anywho, second.
Piastri.
Oh, McLaren won too.
McLaren won 2.
I like your predictions.
And I hate McLaren, okay?
Mhm.
Besides Padua
okay, so
There you go.
here's the Delulu.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
I'm actually going to put Lewis Hamilton here.
I don't hate that.
Wow, I thought you would call me delusional.
No.
You know what? I think he really does a lot of really great things. I could really see Lewis getting a lot more wins this year. Because I think he just has more to work with the Ferrari. And I think honestly, like at this point in his career, like what does he have to lose? Like he knows he's ending his career at this team. That's why he moved here. So I could see it. He might not get his 8th, but I think he could get pretty close.
That's fair. Steven?
I put Leclerc second.
Okay.
I like it.
I just have a feeling
Approved.
Piastri's going to play. Piastri's going to play much more of the team game that we talked about, and he's going to sort of sacrifice races here and there to hold people up. Lose some
Listen,
points.
I think he'll be happily finish second if Lando's 30 seconds up the road.
Exactly. So I that's why I'm like, I think he's going to drop some points off for the good of the team.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll
We'll
see.
see.
So automatically he's third. I don't think he's going to be far behind Leclerc. So, but yeah, I think that's sort of how this season plays out.
My predictions are gonna get bolder and bolder.
My
Just
third.
make sure the math checks out. That's all I ask.
I don't math.
Okay,
You
so
know this.
my third.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with probably Leclerc for third. I want to say
I'm
Ferrari.
also going with Leclerc for
Yeah.
third.
I want to say Ferrari like has a decent season all, but Leclerc might do better than Hamilton because he understands Ferrari strategy.
What strategy?
Exactly. Hamilton does not.
Hamilton might actually bring strategy to Ferrari.
Yeah, but you just know Hamilton's going to be like, "Hey, what's up with this? We are checking."
You're checking.
Question. Like there's little things like that I think is not gonna. It's gonna screw over Hamilton over the year.
Okay, well maybe they've revamped their strategy team.
Is this the
Okay,
best tire to be
whatever.
on? We are checking.
Anyway,
Question.
yeah, I also put Leclerc at third. I have my reasons. Mostly because I think Lando just like bins it.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think he gets in his own head. I think he'll be fourth, so like Lando's my fourth, but I don't know. I think he could get into his own head and ruin his own races. I see a few DNFs in his season.
That's fair.
Okay. So since we're on to the force, I had Hamilton fourth.
I also had Hamilton fourth.
Yeah, I think
Very
the cars.
interesting
Yeah, I think the
how
car's just
none
gonna
of us
carry him.
put Max in the top 4. Do we have him as 5?
I have
Yes.
him as 5. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
clear cut
Wow.
5.
Wow.
Pressuring for fourth.
Wow. Yeah, I think pressuring for 4th.
If
I
you
don't
want
know,
to, if
maybe
you want to
Max
keep
would
going
be
back
4th.
further, my 6th would be Russell.
Yeah, that's what I would
That
have
makes
next.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a.
Crazy.
Do we
I don't
want to
think
just
that's
go?
far off.
Want to just keep going? Top
No,
10.
screw
Fuck
it.
it.
Let's go through the field.
Yeah, I had Russell 6th.
I could see him as 6th.
I don't see Lawson being quality enough to
Yeah.
get up there.
Yeah, I would. I could see Lawson as 7th. Like Russell 6th, Lawson 7.
Yeah,
That's
then,
if the Red Bull, if the Red Bull car is as competitive.
Yeah. And I guess it's really, does Kimi Antonelli do well, or is he like heavy struggles for?
I'd put Kimi 7th, and
Really?
then I would
Lawson.
do Lawson 8th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more thinking Lawson. He's got the experience, or the limited extra bit of experience, and then
He's
I go
a little bit
Antonelli.
older. So, I don't know. Antonelli just seems too young for me.
Yeah, Lawson only has 11 starts.
10 more than Kimmy.
Yeah. So realistically, I kind of put them on the same footing. But one, I think, has more pressure than the other.
Yeah, fair.
Fair enough. All right, give me two more drivers. Who's coming out of the who do we have left?
Science.
The Haas Signs, okay.
Yeah,
Signs
Signs 9th. Albon 10th for me. I could see it Williams like being very close together.
Okay. I had Signs 9th and Ocon 10th. Do it. Take Behrman. I know you want to take Behrman.
You know what? Yeah, I'll take Behrman.
see it.
Yeah,
I
I'll
see it
take
in your
Behrman.
face.
You know what? Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I could see you contemplating it. I just knew that's what you were thinking.
Fine.
All right, there. Let's cut it off at the top 10.
I
No
think
one cares about the rest.
Oh my god, that'll take forever. Yeah. Head to heads.
Yeah, head to heads.
Okay.
God. Okay, Sauber. I have them listed as
Hulkenberg.
Steve.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of easy. I feel like it's gonna be Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice clean sweep there. Alpine.
Gasly.
Gasly.
Against
Easily.
either
I was
teammate.
gonna say, is it
Against
just
It's kind of
TBD.
easy. I feel like to do these.
rookie versus other guy wins?
Yeah,
most of
I
the
think
time?
so.
Williams, Signs. I mean, we all just said Signs.
Yeah.
for
Signs,
ninth,
yes.
So I'm just V Carb, Yuki.
Yuki.
Yeah, probably
he's
Yuki.
pretty easy.
Haas. Sean, I'm putting you down for Behrman.
You know what? Yeah, I'll go Behrman over Ocon. Ocon's never
I'm
impressed
also
me.
gonna go with Behrman.
Thank
over
you, Taylor.
Ocon.
Okay, I will be. That's the first one where we change. I'll stick with my Ocon choice. I feel like I sort of have to at this point too. And I mean the rest we can just fill up from the top 10. So Piastri over, unless anyone wants to change from their top 10
We
prediction
didn't
for
say
their
Stroll. We
head-to-head.
didn't say Stroll and Alonso.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, Stroll and Alonso.
I'm gonna take Stroll.
I'll take Alonso. I'm not a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
No, it's a lot.
yeah.
Obviously.
Okay, and then the rest we're just leaving.
Yeah, we know our
Yeah.
predictions
not-
for those ones.
Yeah, I'll just copy paste from the top 10 here.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this race, like, guys, it starts this weekend.
Yeah.
Yay! Wow.
12 a.m..
At what time?
Yes.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
This is a great weekend for racing, though.
Yes.
Like, you realize what's Saturday? Saturday is 12 hours of Sebring.
Oh God.
Oh. Okay.
How do you? Okay, that's fantastic.
Oh right, it's
No,
IMSA.
I'm
Yay!
I'm more just realizing, shit, this is gonna be a long weekend.
It is gonna be
12 hours of Sebring, followed almost immediately into F1 Sunday morning at 1 a.m. You finally get to sleep after that, and then we got NASCAR on Sunday.
Where is NASCAR this weekend?
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Oh right, it is Las Vegas.
Pump your money on Larson now.
You mean Bell doesn't get a fourth?
Fuck, honestly, he could too, which is nuts.
He could. He's got such good pace. Anyway,
I mean, we could
F1.
quickly talk Phoenix from this weekend too.
Yeah.
We're already
Yeah,
here. We've
nice.
already at the time. We're at like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Who?
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, guys.
This is our longest episode ever. It's fantastic. Yeah, Phoenix. Fun race this week. We had a nice option tire that NASCAR decided to bring. Split
Changed things up.
strategy. Oh, it was amazing to see the difference of like once you had that tire, you were just free passing.
Yep.
You were free
I was-
passing, but then like the drop off, like once you started to see the tire wear, and you're like, oh, they're losing
Oh,
it. Like
yeah.
Logano flew, and then when he started to drop back, I was like, that's it. Like he doesn't have much left in that. So
I
was
wanted
interesting
more
to
drop
see.
off.
You wanted
Honestly,
more drop off?
I would have just gone with those option tires the whole time.
Well, and I think that's what the drivers are really going to push for the championship race because they don't want two sets of different compounds
Yeah.
Yeah.
and having a split strategy where a guy like, say, Ryan Preece can throw some tires on, throw on the softer set early and fly through the field. So
But
that
that's
seems to
kind
be
of.
the
But then he
consensus.
didn't have him at the end. Like I feel like that's a really
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
strategy to do. It's track position now versus speed later. Like you
Yeah.
can see a lot of the teams kind of went from the back. Like again, when you plan your strategy in motorsports, you start from the checkered flag backwards. So you wanted the best tires on at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of teams did the split, whereas again you had Preece in the back to start, so he was like, "I need the track position."
Yep.
You had Logano take the penalty for having his toes over the line a little too early. Had to take
Right.
had to take the set early, and
was
get back up through the field.
Pissed. He
Yeah.
was pissed.
Well, don't.
Here's an idea.
cheat.
Don't break the
rules.
yeah. Where's my Jim Carrey meme? Stop breaking the law, asshole. Still finished 13th because I think the caution came at the perfect time for him in stage 3, where everybody else had to get off of those softer tires to make it to the end early. So
Mhm.
good salvage win, or not salvage win, good salvage finish to get into the top 15.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, overall, though, like, honestly, like, Belle's pace is amazing.
Yeah.
I was floored.
Who took him in
I
our fantasy?
honestly,
you
I think
did.
it was you.
Oh, would you look
Yeah.
at that?
Yeah, but you know what's funny? This is how fucked up NASCAR is. The guys won 3 of 4 races, second in point scoring behind William Byron.
I was
Which
gonna
is
say, isn't like the
ridiculous.
500 like, is it worth more or something
Nope, stages.
points wise?
Stage.
Oh, stages, of course.
And
Stages.
I think the saddest thing also with like Bell is you've won 3 out of the 4 races. No, 3 out of 5.
3 out of
3 out of 4 or 5.
4. 4. We've only had 4.
4.
races.
He's won 3 out of 4, and yet we already know he's probably not going to win a championship.
No,
Yep.
that's just how it goes in NASCAR.
It just and like there's like, oh, is he a championship favorite? Everyone's like, there's no favorites. It's roll
There
the
is
dice.
no favorites.
So it is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But hey, we
That
got
move at the end
on
made me want to continue watching NASCAR.
Denny
Not
Hamlin.
gonna lie. Yes.
It's kind of
I
forces
was
him wide.
like,
Oh, that was cheeky.
oh, it was so cheeky, but I was like, okay, I could sign up for this. 'Cause,
Did
like,
you
that
did you
was
see Denny
interesting.
Hamlin's like radio?
Yes.
Oh, he was not happy, but like,
He was not happy.
but he did everything he could do, and he put himself in a position, and just Bell defends the way he does, and like it's not dirty, it's just
No.
racing, and it's just like, damn
It's
it,
NASCAR.
it is.
Yeah, Denny's been saying on his podcast the toughest part is that it's a guy in the same equipment as you, so I think that's where the frustration sort of
Yeah,
boils over of outside of Bell at JGR, they've struggled.
Yeah.
Right? Like Briscoe has not had any luck.
no,
He got caught up in a wreck this weekend too. Who am I missing? Hamlin's been okay. He's still sitting 7th in points.
oh yeah, Gibbs.
So, and then Gibbs has had
Awful.
a rough go. This
Rough.
weekend,
Yeah, who said this
week,
could be a good year for him? I don't know who said that.
I'm just gonna say this weekend was not his fault, because Toyota clearly had a problem with their brakes. Bubba Wallace and Tyler Gibbs, what was it? Their brake rotors both blew up.
Yeah, not the first time we've seen that.
So, yeah, so I'd say that's more of a Toyota issue, considering it happened to 2 different teams, 2 different cars.
Well, it might be a JGR setup issue because
Yeah,
they could be working that with what's it called, a 2311, and maybe they just kind of overdid it on the setup there.
yeah. So won't blame him for this weekend, but yeah, needs to start showing up every once in a while.
Definitely.
So, trying to think any other big notable performances. I know Ty Dillon was there surprisingly because he had the set of reds and they sort of fucked up the strategy at the end, not flipping to a yellow and then hoping for a late
You also
caution,
had a
which
bunch
sort
of guys
got.
kind of like drop off. Like Blaney blew up.
Blaney
Don't
blew
see
up,
engine failures a whole lot now in NASCAR. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
you had an early wreck that was a big one that took out like 6 guys. So like, yeah, it was a pretty good race all around, and
For Phoenix, much improved. I'm
yeah,
actually
yeah.
very curious what the good race poll is at.
And we're waiting in suspense.
You can fill in space here.
I mean, I didn't really catch it this week, so I was a bad NASCAR watcher. I only kind of caught the end of it. So
Well, I mean, to be fair, you had things going on this weekend.
yeah,
so that's
exactly.
All right.
I caught stage 1, and then I caught the end of stage 3.
77.7%.
I
Good
think
race.
It's pretty decent.
Yeah, it's not the
The
best.
best Phoenix race since 2021 championship race at 80.9. Number
Damn.
7 out of 19 Phoenix races. But
Okay.
number one in the next gen era.
That's fair.
7% better than 2022 spring, which was at 70%.
Honestly,
flat.
the Jeff Gluck good race o-meter and the stats to go with it, it's amazing to see the changes of just like the audience and what NASCAR is doing, because it really does reflect in like the year over year.
Yep.
Like
Both
best in next gen, that's huge.
both races at Phoenix last year under 42%.
And it goes to show, like on some tracks where people have been not satisfied with the racing product, the difference has been tires.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Bristol, and then look at Phoenix. Having that softer tire is the answer.
Give an option to the strategy when you're gonna shoehorn everybody into the same strategy.
Yes.
Because again, even today with the stages, or not today, but like Sunday with the race, a lot of the teams were still on the same strategy. Everybody saved their soft sets to split the third stage. When realistically, if you had Logano's strategy, you might have done better trying to hold on at the end.
Yeah.
And realistically, even after that, some of the teams, if they had, like again, talked about Ty Dillon quickly, but so he got a speeding penalty when he was running in top 6, I think. Went to the back of the field, but why do you not come in, swap to yellows, and then hope for the best? Why are you staying on the softs?
We need more tire wars.
Yeah.
Honestly, tire wars would be the answer to so many problems. Yeah, you might guys blowing tires every now and then, but like, if you think of some of the best series and the golden age of racing, there was almost always different tire options.
Yeah.
So, just a thought.
Yeah, lots of things. I actually want to see the option or 2 sets of tire compound without the stages and just see what happens.
Yes.
That would be amazing. I know it wouldn't be typical NASCAR, but I feel like that'd be
But like in
fun.
any generals, like just let teams figure it out. Like the whole, what's it called? Monaco has to have 2 pit stops now and shit like that. And like,
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
No, we didn't.
There's lots of things we'll have to talk about.
I think the best idea
Grid.
for that is like if you are starting in the back in Monaco, you pit first lap and then you pit second lap and then
Yep.
you've done your pit stops and you can just fall behind everyone.
Yep.
Which I would love to see that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Could
Beat
be
them at their
reality.
own game.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Do we?
I think that's
I
all.
don't think we have time for. Yeah, I don't think we have time to go through our fantasy teams.
No, we do
No.
not.
But-
Anyway,
But I did put out the fantasy link. Join.
for F1,
You can go against my team, which is 25% tariff on that Haas.
God fucking damn it, that's hilarious. Oh, wow.
So-
I gotta give that to you. I really do. Wow.
Very good.
Anyway,
Yeah,
on that
your team's in.
fantastic note, join our fantasy. Please remember to give us a like, subscribe, do all the fun things. And we will be back next week for another brand new episode of Spare Parts Racing. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Spare Parts Racing podcast. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and follow the show on Twitter at sparepartsracing. That's sparepartsracing, and on TikTok at sparepartspod. Follow the hosts at Sean Chavarella, at Stephen Clary, and at Tay Moore.